Hi, welcome to Hot Mom's Dinner Club. So yesterday, Maddie and I went to White Hill Farms and we picked a bucket of fresh strawberries. So we came home and we made this fresh strawberry pie. It's now set overnight. We're going to enjoy it tonight with our barbecue. We're doing a Daddy's New Addiction this evening, and we're going to have that for our dessert. And with the rest of the strawberries that I managed to save before she ate all of them, I'm going to make some strawberry jam. And remember, you can always get on the website, hotmomsdinnerclub.com, and get the full recipes for all of these, okay? Here we have our strawberries. To our strawberries, we're going to add a pinch of salt. We've got some fresh lemon zest, and we're also going to squeeze about a teaspoon of juice in here as well. The lemon juice actually helps bring out the flavors in there. We're going to hang on to this. We're going to put a little juice in there as well. I have cinnamon and nutmeg in here. And then we're going to put a half cup of this honey. It's a very, very dark, rich honey. Now I'm going to get this on the stove and I'm going to bring it all up to a boil. And while that is warming up, I will juice some of that lemon in there. I was going to put this on the stove on about medium-high heat until I get the rest of the pectin mix ready to go. A cup of sugar in here. I'm going to add the package of pectin in. Pectin is naturally occurring in fruit. However, if you use the pectin when you're making your jams, you don't have to cook them so long to preserve them. They don't lose their freshness and their taste. You don't want to cook the fruit for a too terribly long period of time. Then we're going to add in our liquid here, our orange juice and our water. And we're going to do this rather quickly because we don't want it to be lumpy. And as soon as we get it, all the lumps out, which there shouldn't be, we're going to add this into the boiling mixture. We're also going to use a whisk in here because that's what's going to kind of break our strawberries up. I don't want to pulverize it. I don't want to blend it or anything like that. I want the nice chunky fruit in there, but the whisk will help kind of break it up. So again, I put acid in here again with the orange juice, so that'll just kind of make the strawberries taste brighter. And also I am going to put a touch of food coloring in. I usually don't use food coloring, but I do like to use food coloring when I can with the cooked strawberries because they turn a very brownish color when you cook them. And so I do want this the jam to look very pretty, so we are going to put a touch of the food coloring in. We're going to let that boil for about 5 minutes, and we're going to start getting our jars ready to go. These strawberries actually appear to be holding their color quite nicely, but we're still going to add a little bit of the red food coloring in there just to be safe. And one more thing you can do is always put a little bit of the mix in the fridge. Just put a little bit in the fridge and check it in about 5 minutes, and you can make sure that your jelly is going to set up to your preference. So I'm just going to bust these up a little bit more and then take them off the heat. I'll pull them back up here because you want this to be at a nice rolling boil when you're ready to start filling your jars. I got our water here almost ready to go. My daughter wanted blue, so we have blue jars. Heating this up will keep our jars from breaking when we add in our hot jam. You don't want to add it into a cold jar. They could possibly break, shatter. Heating them up will kind of keep that from happening. And I'm going to get our jelly back on here just to make sure it's on that high boil when we add it in. I'm going to check our sample just to make sure that we're all good on that. Turn those over until we're ready to use them. We're going to keep our water here on a boil so that we can add those in, and we're going to boil them for 10 minutes once we get them filled. Okay, so we have our tester of jam here, and it's not completely set, so it's still a little bit runny, but you can tell it's definitely going to set up nice as soon as it's completely cooled. If you didn't think it was going to set, you could reduce it down further, which would take water out and make it thicker. Or if it was too thick for some reason, you could thin it down with a little more orange juice or water if you thought it set up too thick. But I think this is going to be just fine. I've got it back on. It's at that good roll and boil. So I'm going to start putting it in my jars. If you have a wide mouth funnel, that is for the best. I just don't have one right now. So I've got my skewer here just to poke out any strawberries that get stuck in there, okay? I'm also going to do about half in each one and then come back and do some more. That way I make sure I get even amount of liquid and chunky fruit into each one. And jams are certainly fun to work with because, you know, there's just endless possibilities of what you can do with them. So we have all different kinds of fruit combinations. You can even do a spicy one. I've done a peach and blackberry spice that had hints of white pepper in it, so I had a nice spice to it. You just do so many different flavors and mixes. Strawberry pineapple is another one I've done before that I really liked. Actually, I think we're only going to get 2 out of here. I'd like to get a whole video together of just different types of jams, so maybe in the future I'll get that. So yeah, so we're just going to get 2 out of here. Like I said, I didn't know what we were going to get out of here. That's all I had left over from the strawberries that we picked. Maddie ate a lot more of them last night than I had anticipated. But at any rate, we will just, this little bit left over is probably enough for maybe a half of one. You can still use it, you know, you just want to use it in the next week or so. It just won't be jarred. So we got 2 out of there. Okay, so we had our water boiling here. We're just going to add these in. And if the water doesn't cover, I'm going to add just a little bit more to cover them. Yes, I will have to. You want to cover them. Make sure they're covered with about 1 inch of water. So pretty much we're going to fill this all the way up. Like I said, I left a little bit, a 1/4 inch of headspace. And I also just put the lids on there just taut. You don't want to go too strong on them. You're not trying to be He-Man or anything. Just till they close. And we're going to boil these for 10 minutes. Once that water comes back up to a boil and we get them completely covered, we're going to boil them for 10 minutes. So our jam has cooled overnight. Our strawberry jam, I decorated it very pretty here. I labeled it with the strawberry jam and the date that we made it. I'm giving these as gifts, so I put a nice pretty bow on that. So if you have a lot of time and you want to, you know, make some homemade gifts for somebody, you can make a big batch of jam and put some pretty bows on it. They make excellent gifts. You can do winter recipes and give them out for Christmas gifts, summer recipes for showers and whatnot. You just want to make sure that you write the name of the item and the date that you prepared that, so everybody knows to use that within a year. And here we have a little bit of it just to try. Got on a bagel here, our homemade strawberry jam. So yeah, you can always get these for homemade gifts. People love this stuff. You know, if you have a lot of cucumbers or something in your garden, just pickle a bunch. You know, people love to get homemade pickles. The homemade stuff just never compares to the store-bought. So put a nice label on it, put a nice bow, give it away as a gift. All right, thanks for joining me. Hot Moms Dinner Club.